Well, Happy New Year everyone, and welcome to a new video from a very, very cold Scotland. So anyway, Happy New Year to all of you, and I hope you had a fabulous Christmas as well. Being that it's New Year, I think it's time that we did some more upgrades to Hamish. So when we did the upgrades last year, it was after we'd already been away, we'd been to festivals, and we realised that we needed to make some changes, that we wanted to make some changes as well to the van to make it more for us. So the first thing we did is got rid of the gas. We are no longer have any gas in this van at all. But in order to get rid of the gas in the van means that we needed to up our power source that we already had, which was our solar and our batteries. So we added an additional 115 amp AGM battery. We also upgraded our MPPT controller for a Renogy Rover, and we also installed a brand new 2000 watt Renogy inverter. Now that we had the power, now that we had the solar, because I added an extra 200 watts of solar on the roof as well, that means we were now able to add in our, let me see if I can get it in here and try and get it in shot. Solar power induction hob. So we got rid of the gas, freed up the space, and we installed the induction hob in here. And with these upgrades, we also needed a way to be able to monitor how much power we were actually using. So that's why I installed the Renogy battery monitor as well, which gives me a lot better idea of what's going in and what's coming out. And now that we've done all that, now it's time for the big upgrades. I know what you're thinking, were they not big upgrades? Absolutely were. But at the end of that video, when I installed the batteries, the solar panels, everyone in the comments was something, you should go lithium. I asked the question, should I go lithium? Should I get rid of the 3 AGM batteries and do that? At the time, I could not justify the price of having lithium. They were so expensive. But now that it's New Year, New Year's sales, I may have been a bit naughty with the credit card. So yes, we've finally taken the jump, and we're going to be installing a big lithium battery in the back of this van. We're going to be getting rid of the AGM, and we're going to be jumping over to lithium. I won't tell you which one it is yet, but you will see it later on. It hasn't arrived yet, but it should be arriving the next day or so, and we'll be getting it installed in this van. We're also going to be doing a slight upgrade as well, because obviously we're adding the lithium in there. We want to be able to power it. So we've got the solar, we know we've got enough solar now to be able to do that. We've got our Noco Genius battery charger, which when we're hooked up to mains power like I am just now, it means it can charge the batteries for me. So we bit the bullet there as well. Went on to Renogy. They had a sale going on at the moment for the new year, and we ended up buying a Renogy DC to DC charger as well, which we're going to be putting into the van as well to make sure that our brand new lithium battery is going to keep charged. But wait, there's more as well. We're also changing the layout to our van. Now obviously we've changed our layout before as well. We changed the kitchen, location of the kitchen and things like this. But now that we've been away in it, and we've lived in it, and we've had the kids in it and the dogs, there's certain things that we want to change. One of those things is the location of the kids' bed, which I'm currently sitting on. So this is our current setup. So we have the bench here, kids' seats with seat belts over here, and all we do is we put a board, which currently sits just there, across there, and we drop the pillows down to make the bed for the kids. And that works fine, comfortable, no issues at all. Problem is though, is when I want to get into bed, or my wife wants to get into bed, we've got to crawl over the kids to get up to our bed. So we're going to fix that. So the bench and the seats are going to stay where they are. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove our bed, take everything out, strip it down completely. We're going to build a new bed frame, which is probably slightly lower as well, because this is a little bit high. And then that will clear everything out from underneath. And then we're going to create a bed system underneath here. So where this part is here is going to be open, so the kids can go in. It'll be like a passageway into their beds, and their beds are going to be situated on this side of the bed. They don't need a big double bed, they just need maybe half of my bed for both the kids to sleep on. So while we're waiting for all of these things to arrive so we can start the good stuff, we've got to do the boring stuff, which is first, we've got to strip out this bed. I think if I'm going to access the electrics, it's probably better just to get the bed, rid of the bed, get rid of the bed frame, get rid of all of that, empty out the back of the van. Then it'll give us a clear view of what we're doing when our lithium battery arrives and when our DC-to-DC charger arrives as well. Let's get started on that.
Lie awake at night? Are you afraid to turn out the lights? Is there something you're scared of? What's there out in the dark? Make sure to keep all your windows locked. Do you surrender? You try to stay awake. These walls you can't escape. Here's one for the lonely hearts, for the ones that fear the dark. You better run out of here. Bet you can't look the other way. Here's one for the broken road. That's the only one you know. You better.
So that's the bed completely stripped. That's everything out from underneath it. And honestly, I forgot how much space I actually had underneath this bed. Have a look at this now. So obviously I've removed this part here because that's going to be the opening for the kids to get into their bed, which the plan is their bed is now going to be here underneath my bed. I've opened up all the space. You jump out and have a look. It's bloody huge. There's so much space. I like having this much storage though. But while we've got this out, the most important thing is to now get access to the battery so we can install the new lithium battery and the new DC to DC charger, which I will show you now. So here it is. Which lithium did we go with? Well, after lots of looking, we finally decided to go with the eco-worthy 280 amp hour lithium battery. And my god, this thing is heavy. I only went for 280 amp hours because I've currently got 315 amp hours of AGM, which I know means I've probably only got about 150 to 160 amp hours. So 280 amp hours from lithium should be more than enough than what we would need. Right, let's get these old AGM ones out and let's get the lithium in.
Anywhere but here. Anywhere but here.
That's the case off of them, and that's them available. So I've really only got, let me just turn this around a bit. So the way I've got everything set up is that the only positive that comes to the batteries is from this kill switch, and that goes to there, and then everything else, all the other positives run off of the bus bar. Now there is a ground on it there, as you can see there, so there's an earth on it. Then I've also got the shunt here where all my earths come for. Everything pretty much is running off of these batteries comes to this shunt, so that I get it monitored on my battery monitor in the front. So I think we're going to disconnect the power to everything just now and then start taking the batteries out. So that's all three of the batteries now out of there, everything disconnected. I've got the one ground that goes to the shunt. I've got the positive that is for my Noco Genius charger, and then I've got the input from the solar that's there, and the main power ground that, not power, the main power that goes to my cutoff switch that then feeds all of my 12 volt. So we're replacing these three batteries for this big one. Let's get this in. Right, this thing is super heavy. It's It's definitely going to fit in here. Oh God, that thing is heavy. But there we go. We've got it situated in now. So obviously I'm going to have to rebox these in, so use these to box everything in. I'm probably going to push that back a bit and then move these forward to box it in. So I'll just cut that off, move that to hold it in place. Same on this side, I'm going to have to create something to strap it down. But now we just need to get this thing all plugged in so we can turn on the low 12 volt again. Let's give it a go. That's it all installed in. Let me show you what it looks like. So that's it in place there. So obviously I've still got to pack it out at the back there to hold it in place. But everything's connected now. So, well, I say everything. We have the ground that's going to the shunt, the ground that's going to the chassis of the car. We've got the main power that goes up to the kill switch, which feeds all of my 12 volt in the car. We've got the plus from the solar converter here for the MPPT, and we've got the plus also from my Noco Genius. So that is absolutely everything connected that needs to be connected. So now all we need to do is connect the Renogy. Where did I put it? Hold on. Here it is, here. So we're getting rid of our current split charge that we have in here. It's one of these cheap Chinese ones. I don't know if you can see it over there. It's just one of the split charge systems. We're getting rid of that, and we are going with the Renogy DC to DC 40 amp charger. So we're going to be using this today. It's getting a bit dark now. It gets dark about 4:30 now in Scotland, which makes it having to actually do stuff almost impossible. So I think I'm going to leave this until tomorrow morning. But in the meantime, I think we've made some good progress today. You know, we've got the bed all out. We have got the old batteries out of the van, and we've got the new eco-worthy 12.8 volt 280 amp hour lithium battery installed into the van. I think this is going to be a great addition to the system. Right, I'm going to get everything tidied up, and then we'll come back tomorrow to finish off putting the Renogy DC to DC in, and then we're going to start on the bed. See you guys tomorrow. Well, good morning everyone, and welcome to another day. On a plus side, it's not as cold today. It's only 3 degrees, which is amazing because we woke up, we didn't have to thaw out the van, it wasn't covered in frost or anything. So let's get on to what we're going to be doing today. So let me show you what we managed to get done yesterday. So as you're aware, we ripped out all the bed, we put everything back in. Here's the IKEA mid-beams that I managed to pick up so we can make the beds. I just put everything kind of back in just now, just because I don't have space to keep everything. But we did install our lithium battery. What I've been doing is I disconnected all the 12 volt last night, so there's nothing running inside the van, and I've just been charging the battery all night on the Noco Genius 10. So I'm just going to open the app just now and have a look and see how much that has actually charged the battery. Because last night it was sitting on 27% availability inside the eco-worthy lithium battery. So let me get the app all set up again, and let's have a look and see how we did. Okay, so I think I have definitely messed something up here. So last night when I left it and I put it on charge, it was on 27%. Now when I've come back this morning, the app is still showing at 27%. When I left last night, it was saying it was charging, but it wasn't charging with a lot of power, but I thought that just might be the Noco Genius booting up. I now think that it was only charging from the solar. I don't think that's charging the battery, and the reason I think that is and now that I'm just looking at it, let me explain to you what I did. So, oops, let me turn this camera around, it'll let me. There we go. So, the Noco Genius has two wires. That's the positive, and what I did is I put the negative onto the shunt. But now I'm thinking that maybe I'm supposed to have the negative directly onto the negative terminal of the battery instead of on the shunt. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the solar from the battery first to see if there's still any charging after I disconnect that. If there is, then it means that the Noco Genius is charging. If there isn't any charge, then I'm going to take the negative that I put onto the shunt directly onto the lithium battery to see if it then starts charging. I think that maybe that's causing interference between the charging. I don't know. Right, let me give it a go and see what happens.
Do you lie awake at night? Are you afraid to turn out the lights? Is there something you're scared of? What's there out in the dark? Make sure to keep all your windows locked. Do you?
Now, on the Noco Genius, it's showing that it is doing something. Let me get the app now and see if it is still charging. There you go. So the Noco Genius is not charging the battery because the total power coming in, and it's apparently got the battery status on standby. But let me refresh it just to be sure. Yeah, there's no charge coming in there. So I think the next point is going to be for me to take the positive off of that shunt, the negative, sorry, off of the shunt, and put it directly to the battery and see if that works. Let's give that a go. So I know I've been sitting here saying shunt, shunt, shunt. What does the actual shunt do? So all the negative, all the grounds from anything that's in my van goes to the shunt. The reason it goes to the shunt is because I've got a battery monitor inside the cab, which then tells me how many amps and everything are being used. But it needs to go through the shunt to be able to recognise that. Now, I thought that by attaching the ground to there for the battery charger it would work. I was obviously wrong. So I'm going to take that off now, very carefully, because it's an absolute pain to get all these grounds on. So these lock washers on it. So where's that? So that's the wire for the Noco Genius. I'll put that one back on now. Put that off. Put everything back on the way it was. I'm not going to hook it up too tight, but just enough. Just enough or nothing. Right, let's now connect this to let's now connect the negative directly to the battery and see if that makes a difference.
In the dark, make sure to keep all your windows locked. Do you surrender? You try to stay awake. These walls you can't escape. Here's one for the lonely hearts, for the ones that fear the dark. You better run out of here. Bet you can't look the...
Right, so we've got it all charging. Well, I say charging. I've got the Noco Genius on. It says that it's charging. I've connected it directly to the negative and the positive. I've disconnected the solar, so there's no solar on it. But it's still not showing me a charge at all. Nothing at all. But when I hook the solar on it, it starts charging, which is so weird. So now I want to make sure that this is actually charging, that I'm getting power out of the Noco. So I've got my multimeter. I'm going to stick a multimeter on it just now, just to see what kind of voltage I'm getting. Then I'm going to disconnect the two Noco leads and try and see if I can get power off of that. See if any power is actually coming through. So let's give that a go. So I'm going to give this a go just now and see. At the moment it's on 0. Don't mind the little screw in the bottom of this. I broke the little diode on it, so but the little screw in it works. So positive, negative, and it's showing I've got 13.3 volts. It doesn't seem to me that that would mean that it's charging. Let me now take off the positive from the Noco and the negative from the Noco and see if I'm getting power through it directly from there. Right, so I have disconnected the positive from the Noco, and I'm just going to put the negative from here, and let's see if I'm getting anything through this at all. Blows my mind. So it looks like the Noco is giving out like 15 volts. It shows that it is giving power, but for some reason the batteries, the app on the EcoWorthy, the battery management system isn't recognizing it. I better figure this out. Right, so we've had no success with that at all. So what I've done is I've reconnected everything up. So I've put the positive back on the positive. I have put the negative back onto the shunt because I was watching a video on YouTube and they were doing it off of the shunt and it was working absolutely fine. The only thing, it's got charge coming into it now, but that's only because I have connected up the solar again. So the solar's charging it at a pitiful, I've got 400 watts of solar on the roof, and I'm getting a pitiful 19 watts through. But it's better than nothing. I think, and I could be completely wrong here, is that obviously the Noco Genius is, see, it's flashing green there, which in my mind means that it thinks that that battery is full, because the battery is sitting at 13.2 volts. So even though I've set it to lithium on the Noco Genius, it's set to lithium, I think there's some sort of voltage parameters or something on it. So once it sees that it's got to 13.2 volts, it's already got 13.2 volts in it, that it's just not charging. So like we can see from here, the battery itself is actually sitting at 13.26 volts. So to anyone else and any charger, even though it's a smart charger, it should recognize it. That's a charged battery, so it doesn't need to charge it. The other option is that it could be the battery management system inside the EcoWorthy, which just is not working with the Noco Genius. But again, when I've looked online, it said that it can work with the EcoWorthy can work with the Noco Genius. So I have no idea. If you guys have any ideas of why the heck my Noco Genius will not charge my new eco-worthy lithium, please let me know. I've got a funny feeling I'm going to have to go and buy another charger, which is what I was trying to avoid. But any help you guys, please let me know, drop it in the comments below. Right, now we'll get on to the next part of the charging, which was to get our Renergy DC to DC charger installed, so at least when we're driving we'll be able to charge it. Right, let's get on that now. So it's really hard to get somewhere to set up the camera in here, so I'm just going to kind of explain to you guys quickly what I'm going to do, then just do it. All I'll be doing is connecting the wires, so let me go through it step by step what I'm going to do. So at the moment we have the split charge system here. This cable that connects to it comes straight from my front battery, the alternator in the front. It then passes through here and then comes to a fuse that is just here. It's up here, if you can see that. There's a fuse just there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting the DC to DC charger here, connecting the power cable to here into that one, then coming out here using the existing fuse, and then just adding an additional wire from here to the positive of the lithium battery. The only thing that's a bit different with this one is that the DC to DC charger also needs a negative on one side, a negative on the other side, an earth cable on both sides. So I'm going to have to pull negatives from the shunt up to this as well. So I hope that makes sense. Once I've got it installed, I'll come back and show you exactly what I've done, and hopefully if it doesn't make sense just now, it should make sense after I've got it installed. Let me go and get this installed and I'll be back to you in just a few seconds for you. See you in a bit.
A few minutes later.
So we got it in and it seems like it's working. We're getting now 560 watts coming in from the DC to DC charger. Let me show you how I've got it all hooked up here, and then we'll be able to see it. You can probably see from my breath, all of a sudden it's got really cold. So let me show you what we've done. So we've mounted it in the place where we had the split charger. We've got the power that is coming in from the battery, and then we've got the power here that's going to the leisure battery over here, and I just connected it onto the existing fuse that we had up here. I've added a ground cable that travels all the way down to the shunt, so it's giving the ground here, and then it says here that I need to have the negative from the front battery, but it's going to be impossible for me to run that, so I just looped it onto the ground, because the ground in the front is getting from the chassis and the shunt's getting the ground from the chassis as well, so I'm assuming that that should be fine, and it seems to be working. So I've set the type to the steady blue, which is enabled lithium battery, and I've turned the van on, and while it is charging that flashes. While it is not charging, it just stays as it should be. So I've got it turned on just now and it's charging, and it's charging pretty fast as well. So I'm getting 40 amps out of it, 40 amps charging, 562 watts, and it's charging a lot faster than my solar. And I still don't know, for one moment there the Noco seemed to jump in and start working when I first connected the front battery to it and didn't have it plugged in, so I think it may have to do with the voltage limitations on the Noco. But again, please, if you guys have any idea of why it could be doing that, then please drop it in the comments below. So overall I think we've had quite a successful few days. We've managed to get the lithium in, so lithium's all installed. We've managed to get a DC to DC charger installed, and we managed to strip out everything, all the beds, everything for our new bed that's going to be going in. I don't think we're going to be able to get the bed in this episode, because there are still a bit of build to be done, because as I said, I'm getting rid of where the kids usually sleep, and and we're going to be creating like a bunk bed system underneath my bed so that the girls will have someplace in there to go. So just to give you a little bit of a visual kind of where those boxes are now, those black boxes, we're going to have a bed underneath there. My bed's going to be higher up, and it means we're going to block it off and the kids will be able to pass through from the bit in the middle that we removed before, and they'll be able to sleep underneath the bed, which is going to free up the room in the front, because at the moment every time me and the wife want to get off the bed, we've got to trample over the kids to be able to get in, to get out. Well, that's the plan, and I think that's going to be the plan for next weekend. But I'm really happy that I finally managed to get this lithium battery in, and the DC to DC charger, which seems to be doing a great job. So I'm going to leave the van running for a little bit here just to try and give a little bit of boost of power to that battery. I haven't got any of the 12 volt running at the moment from it. I want to give the battery a good chance to fully charge completely before I go in and reset all the battery monitors with the amp hours and all this kind of stuff. Still don't know what's going on with that Noco, so please, if any of you guys know what is wrong with this Noco Genius, or do I need to get a different charger to charge my lithium battery, then please let me know. I spent quite a lot of money on that Noco, so I would rather not have to change it, but let me know if it's me that's doing it, my user error, I'm doing something wrong with it. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Look forward to seeing you in the next one, where we'll be starting on the bed and getting that frame and everything done up. See you in the next one, guys.
These walls you can't escape. Here's one